Okay, flute students, so we're ready for page 7. So this page is going to be showing us how to play a whole note. So a whole note is going to be 4 beats of sound for the whole note, and then 4 beats of rest for the whole rest. So if you look at the top there at page 7, it'll show you a little yellow box where it shows you the breakdown of the beats and how many beats each rest has and each note has. So here it shows the whole note having 4 beats, whole rest having 4 beats, and then the whole rest it shows the difference between whole rest and half rest. The whole rest is on the 4th line, the half rest is on the 3rd line. So you want to make sure you can distinguish the difference there. Okay, so going into a whole note, you're going to need to have a lot of air. Okay, so really take a deep breath because you're going to want to really slowly release the air. So for example, you want to be able to keep it going the whole time, okay? So if your voice, if your air stream wavers a little bit throughout there, that's okay, that'll happen. You'll eventually be able to get rid of that with practice and breathing exercises. So really work on holding the breath in and then releasing slowly. So that's a good exercise to work on. Okay, so we're gonna start out with just the rhythm exercise. I'm gonna play this on just a G, just like this. Okay, so the rhythm exercise is exercise 20. It's called rhythm rap. Here we go. So there's 4 beats on the whole note. And then we're gonna do quarter notes. Another whole note. And then a whole rest. So we count 1, 2, 3, 4, then a half note. So that's 2 beats. So that last couple of measures there is half note, 2 quarters, and then a whole note. So it sounds like a long, short, short, long. Okay, so work on that. Now we're gonna do the same exact rhythm, but we're gonna be putting notes in. We're gonna use the E flat, the D, the C, and then B flat, D, and E flat at the end. Then we're gonna repeat. Okay, here we go, slowly. Breathe, and then switch to D. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe, repeat. One, 2, 3, 4. So that one, you want to really make sure you're getting the 4 beats on the whole note. Now, if you're doing too slow of tempo, like 1, 2, 3, 4, then there's probably no way you're going to get through a whole note with 4 beats going that slow. Okay, so make sure it's at a fast enough tempo that you can actually hold out 4 whole counts there. Okay, I'm going to take a look here at exercise 22. This is a duet, so if you have a flute partner, somebody to play along with, that would be super fun. If not, that's okay. Just play each line a couple of times there. So we're going to start with part A, the top one. We're going to be doing B flat, C, D, E flat, and F. Those are the only notes we're going to be using. And if you need a review of the fingerings, go back to page 6 and maybe watch my theory video on that one where we talk about how to read the notes and all of that if you're having trouble with that. So here we go. This is exercise 22, part A. So we're going to do part A first. This is the top line. the little comma, that's the breath mark. Moving to D. One, two, three, four. Okay, so work on that one slow enough that you can get those quarter notes one after the other, but fast enough that you can get that whole note in one breath. Okay, so we're working towards being able to play 2 measures in one breath. That's what those breath marks are showing you. So if you can't do that yet, that's okay, you'll get there. Practice it carefully. Okay, now I'm going to show you exercise B. So this is part B. This is the second line of exercise 22. Okay, so starting on a whole note, B flat. One, two, three, four. Breathe in between. So you have D for 2 counts. Breathe, C. Okay, so that one you're working on taking a breath in the middle of the measure. So it's not a good practice to always try to be breathing on bar lines. You want to kind of break it up into phrases, so that's what they're preparing you for there. Okay, next up we have key signature. Now we're going to talk a lot more about key signature as we go along, but just quickly here, all we need to know is that the key signature shows us which sharps or which flats to play. So in the flute, we work with flats first. In the cello and the other strings, we work on sharps first. And that's just because ease of playing. It's easier to play sharps on the cello or violin, and then the flats there's some flats that are easier to start out on the flute. Okay, so we're going to start with just notes that we know, and rather than having the flats written right beside the note, they're going to be put at the beginning of the piece of music in the key signature. So you'll see a B flat starting out and an E flat. So nothing really changes, they're just put at the beginning and they're not scattered all through the music, but we still play B flats and E flats. So starting here on exercise 23, do that whole note and then breathe. So your full phrase is then breathe. Then breathe after that one. So make sure you get that full D. Then take your breath on the bar line. So here it's showing bar lines. That's an important little spot there. Try to get that whole phrase in one breath. So here we go. See if you can do that all in one breath, and then breathe from there. And then breathe at the end. So try to space out your breathing. Really work on breath retention in doing it slowly out, not letting all of it out at once. Okay, exercise 24, that's for listening in orchestra or band. So no worries, we don't need to do that. Let's look at the little song here on exercise 25. This is Lightly Row. This is going to put in all of the notes we've learned so far. It's going to put in all of the note values we've learned, like quarter notes, half notes, and whole notes. And there's lots of breath marks after every 2 measures. Okay, so it's really testing all of your skills. I'll try to play this slowly so you guys kind of hear the phrasing. What may happen whenever you do a half note, Let's say you have 2/4 and then a half note, and your next measure is also 2/4 and a half note, and you can only breathe once. Not in between, but on either side. So after playing a half note, you may actually need to take a breath in between those two measures and then continue. But try to get it to where you can play that all in one phrase, like, so that's all in one breath, rather than stopping like this, like that. So try not to break that up because it's all one phrase. You may need to in the beginning, but try to move on from there. Okay, the next one is a little quiz on drawing in bar lines before you play. This one, you're just dividing up the beats. So after every 4 beats, just draw in your bar lines, and then your music will be correct. So your very last measure should be a half note and a half rest if you did it correctly. So work through that, and this is how it sounds. Watch for the rests. Rest, rest, and then we repeat. Okay, so watch for that rest at the end. Usually when you have a rest at the end, you kind of keep your instrument in position, and then you don't put it down until after those rests have been completed. So even though you finished playing, you've done your B flat, you don't put your instrument down until after you have that. It's especially important if you're playing in groups. It just looks better. That way it doesn't look like you're dropping out of the group or something. But yes, watch for those beats, those rests, and work on your breathing techniques this week. And next lesson, we will get into page 8. And we'll actually be learning a brand new note. So y'all practice these notes lots and lots. Get really comfortable with the fingerings, really comfortable with the airstream, and all of that. You guys have fun. See you in the next lesson.